Hey, it's Dwayne from Big Sugar. We are in the bee yard today. It is March, I don't know, it's the end of March 28th, 29th, and it's mid-afternoon. We got a nice sunny day, about 8, 9, 10 degrees. I've got my fancy new camera. I don't like talking on TV, camera, whatever. I am not a big fan, but you gotta branch out. Gotta do stuff you're scared of. So we got the bees in the background here. This is our home yard behind our house. There's a bunch of colonies. There's 20 double nukes, so about 40, and then there are 20 honey production hives as well. So I'm going to get into these hives here shortly, and we're going to put in some Apivar strips for our early spring mite treatments. And let's get started. Hey, it's Dwayne from Big Sugar. I am outside. It is March 27th, 2025. And I was just gonna start working on the hives. So I'm out here getting started. And in our flower garden behind the house, I don't know if you can see this, there are hundreds and hundreds of bees right down into the garden, into the beds. There's no food. Obviously there's no flowers. It's just above zero here, maybe +6. It's supposed to be +10 by 2 o'clock. But just pretty interesting. They're obviously gathering something. Bees don't work unless there's a benefit to it. Pretty interesting. There's obviously something here that they like. Hopefully the audio picks it up, because I almost walked past it, but I heard the hum of the bees flying. Pretty cool. Anyways, it's a nice sunny day, and we are going to get into some of these hives today. And it's a whole new world. I broke down and bought a camera. I bought the Insta360 Ace 2 on recommendation from Andrew McGill, thank you. And these are just waking up. It's still not super warm out, but the sun is helping. And most of them have some flying going on. These ones in the hive huggers, they don't feel the sun because the insulation is so heavy. So they wake up way slower than the rest of them. These are the double nukes. And you can see we got some definite action going on. Mouse guard isn't very effective. I used staples last year. Not gonna do that again. Gonna go back to the old school thumbtacks. They work better. Some of them are bustling. Look at this one. Don't see any pollen coming in yet. It's not surprising. This is the home yard. It's always a little bit behind our other yards because it's basically in a forest with a small clearing where the house is and where I cleared here for the bees. Here you can see dead bees. That will eventually get cleaned up and pushed out. But they are enjoying their upper entrance today. Oh, there's some pollen that just went in. There you go. So there's something out there. Possibly maple pollen is very light yellow. Yeah, lots of activity. Happy to see it. Got bees landing on me all over the place. Well, this one doesn't look so good. I know it's alive, but not much activity. It's always interesting that some are raring to go and some aren't. Well, that one's not getting much sun, so that's probably why. Compared to this one, or this one. These guys are bustling. Girls, I guess. Interesting to see if the onboard microphone has it's supposed to stop wind noise and stuff. It's not super windy today, but it is interesting. I'll check it later to see if it's picking up much wind noise. Before I just used my iPhone and had my AirPods in. It was pretty effective unless it was super windy. Like that last one at the farm was ridiculous. This is a triple medium because I ran out of boxes last year. This is the swarm that I captured at the Ingersoll automotive plant at Cami. It was attached to a car, an SUV, and they called me to come pick it up. And it's doing well. It's bringing in pollen. Doesn't mean it's queen ripe, but it's a pretty good indicator. Nice big bags of pollen there. Another double. There's a hive hugger that is very active. Actually, all three of these hive huggers are super busy. So I don't have any gear on, but I'm gonna go get a veil and get started. Today the theory is pop them open, have a quick look for food, mark them to feed if they need a little bit of extra help right now, and I'm also going to be adding Apivar strips for mite control into all of them if I find sealed brood. If I'm finding sealed brood, then Apivar is going in for sure. If not, I might hold off. I'm not too sure yet. The fun thing about beekeeping, you always have a plan, and I don't know, I always find that if the plan is rarely goes the way you want it to. I always have to make in-flight adjustments. That's something I see constantly. So that's when it's nice to have lots of gear. And if you don't know me by now, I like to buy gear. I always have extra of everything available if I need it. I did put out some sugar syrup down there last Tuesday when it was super nice out, and they have not touched it. Not surprised, but figured why not. It's not going to hurt anything. The critters can't get in there. These are my Apivar Defender. I think they're called Defender, but they're plastic hives. Come with a little built-in airspace and insulation. That one died. That one is empty inside. But this is two 4-frame colonies. So they'll make some good nukes in the springtime, in the next few weeks maybe. I did learn something though, that these Apivar hives have these divider walls, and it is when you're putting in 4 small frames to mate queens out of, there's dividers going both ways. So there's 16 frames in there, and each 4 frames has its own queen and its own entrance, which is pretty cool. So what I didn't realize is that these are so thick and they sit side by side that they don't share heat through it. They can't share the heat. So instead of four on this side and 4 on this side, what I need to do is have 5 frames on this side, 4 frames on that side, and then just have the one divider board and close that entrance off there. It's not really an entrance, it's just it lets air flow back and forth. But I'll close that so they can't share. Queen Fair won't across it, but the heat will be able to be shared. So that was a good learning curve. No real instructions for these things, so kind of making it up as I go along. Anyways, I'll get into work and we'll do some more video. Okay, we have our first customer of the day. This is one of the hive hugger hives. I have 10 of these. Just did it as a test 2 seasons ago. Well, they do work well. I've only ever lost 1 colony in 2 winters with them. So I did smoke them down a little bit. These are all sealed. So you actually seal this crown board, which is R32, and then it's, I think, R8 on the sides with this thick insulation, and there's a strap that holds it all together. So we seal it with tuck tape before winter, and there is a little moisture on the top. That's interesting, but obviously nothing falling on the colony because there's this little piece of Reflectix here that stops it. So we'll remove that. Oh, signs of life. That's a good sign. So these do have to have an inner cover, and it's plugged here at the front. See, it's plugged. So just try and smoke those girls down a little bit. There we go. Very calm on the frames, very nice. Quickly check the inner cover. No queen. Now we're going to be quick here because it's not as warm as the other day that I was out here. But this is nice. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and a half, almost 8 frames of bees. Very nice. We'll give it a little lift test. Still has some stores in there. You can tell that there's some honey in there. One way you can do too is you can just take your hive tool, stick it down in there. If it comes out with honey, they've got honey. Not hard to figure it out. So they've obviously got some brood in this area here. That's what they're keeping warm. So that's the brood nest. So what I'll do is we'll put in 2 Apivar strips in here, and no food. I don't even think I'm going to add a pollen patty. We're just going to let them be as it may, and we'll go from there. We'll move on to the next hive. So I just remembered that I said I would check to make sure that there is brood before we started dropping Apivar strips. So we'll smoke the outside. Bees don't really want to go down. So we're trying to drive those bees down a little bit. Never my favorite time of year, trying to crack frames apart. This is when you break them. pretty rough there. That was not the best. One-handed is brutal. Need to get myself a camera person. Not a lot of volunteers for bee work. Camera holders are at a premium. Okay. So, tons of honey. That is at least a half a frame of food. We might put that a little closer to the brood. This is also all honey down inside of that one. So we'll just push across here. More honey. Wow, these colonies do not need any feed. So, I hate to draw conclusions too early, but it really does seem that with these insulated hives, these hive hugger hives, they do not go through as much honey. Because that's a good sized colony. There's nothing wrong with that colony. It's beautiful. I'm happy to see it. And they've got at least 3 frames of honey left over winter. Call that 3.5. Got honey on that side. Probably no brood on this one. No brood, but they are getting ready. They're cleaning that up for egg laying. This one might have some brood. There we go. So we have brood, eggs. Don't see any larvae. Oh, there's some white milk brood right here. A little bit of milk brood right there. But eggs right down inside of there. Probably can't see them. And there is a lovely frame of brood. Just getting started. So on this side, just a little patch of brood. So this hive is a little bit behind the ones at on the Gladstone location. This is all laid up with eggs. All laid up with eggs. And just a little bit of cat brood on this side. Didn't see the queen, I must have missed her. Not sure how well that shows down there. So I will move we'll move this whole cluster more to the center of the hive. And then we will throw this honey frame right up against it. So now they have, in case we get another cold snap, we will have access to food right beside them. And we'll get that one put back in. Put everything back together, add our Apivar before we do that, and this colony is good. So those two went really well. The one on the left here has actually had 2 Hive Live patties on it that Keith from KFB's was so kind to come out to my yard. If you ever need anything, KFB, St. Thomas, go buy your stuff from him. When I was on vacation, he drove all the way out here, checked for weights, and found a couple light ones, and put his own resources on for me. So super appreciated. KFB's St. Thomas, buy your gear from him. Support local. So we're about to go into first of the season double nuke box. I just call them Palmers because there's a guy online, Mr. Palmer, didn't invent these, but he's very well known to use these. He uses them up in New Hampshire, I think it is. But older guy, super good beekeeper, been doing it forever. Lots to learn from his videos. He has a lot of good information for people. I've learned a lot from his videos and from listening to his talks. So, I'm gonna pop the lid, making lots of noise and lots of vibration. They love that. Make sure you hit your hive as much as possible. Just kidding. So this is the 2-inch card insulation. That's an ugly spider, but spiders don't hurt anything. 2-inch insulation, and that is fantastic. We have life in both sides of this double. Fantastic. This is where a lot of our nuke production comes from. So these are overwintered, first year queens, overwintered, and they will go into their first full season of egg laying, which is recognized as their largest egg production, first full season. So these were all mated out in this yard, mostly buckfast queens. So they have their own inner cover, separate inner covers. Shouldn't be a queen here because there is a queen excluder to keep everybody separated. So that is a strong double, super strong. That's fantastic. Super happy to hear that. Grab the smoker here, push it down a little bit. So those that don't know, there is a hive, full hive with their own queen, all their own workers on each side of this box. So in here, there's 4 frames, probably mostly honey. In the fall, we get these completely packed with honey. And then there's a divider board that goes all the way down here that divides this entrance from an entrance on the other side. And there are 4 frames of bees and 4 frames of bees and their own queen living on this side of the box. And then there's 4 frames and 4 frames and another queen living on this side of the box. In wintertime, they will actually share the warmth and they will cluster right in the center and share their warmth between the 2 small 4x4s. And these overwinter year after year. We get a few loss, just like everything else, but every year we have excellent results, and this really gives us a running start. We use them as resource hives, queen mating hives. We use them to build nukes. They will make a lot of bees very quickly because bees like to move up, and in these small spaces they move up quickly. So we will make nukes out of these. My plan right now is we will take, when this side starts swarming behavior, we will pull the queen and a couple frames of brood and a food frame, and it'll go into a nuke box, and Bob's your uncle. That is a nuke ready to sell in probably 2 weeks. And then we'll drop in a queen cell if we're in the middle of the season, and if we're at the very beginning of the season, we'll have some import buckfast queens coming in again from Keith at KFB's. He's got buckfast from Chile, and not sure what the other kind that he's got coming in. Anyways, we better get popping this thing open. Again, not my favorite time of year. The entire thing is glued together. So this is probably going to be bad. All right. Just have a quick look. No queen. These bees will almost certainly be in the top 4 frames. Likely not a whole lot down below. So what I'll do is I'm going to put this lid back on here just to keep those guys occupied. And I'm not going to smoke them down quite yet because I want to have a quick look and see if I'm right about where these bees are. So I'll have a quick look here. Oh, it is so heavy. It means that the frames are probably stuck. Yes, the frames are stuck. All right, stand by. So the bottom frames are stuck. Nobody's happy about that, trust me. Bees, at the least. Okay, so a little bit of brood. And they are down in the bottom box, so that is strong. That's great. And this box is heavy. There is no need for food on that box. They 100% have honey already in there. Very, very nice. That is flipping lovely. So we now will smoke them down a little bit just to get them off the top bars. And they're so heavy that I wonder if they even have brood in there. I'm thinking maybe no brood yet. Okay. Very gently pulling up. The last thing we need to do is roll a queen. Catch the edge, and there's brood. Fan-frickin-tastic. Look at that! What the heck do I know? There probably won't be any brood, he says. Look at that. Lovely early spring pattern. No food in the empty cells and no pollen in the empty cells. So not a lot of resources coming in yet, which is to be expected. I don't see eggs, but I do see a couple larvae there. Switch hands. That's lovely. It looks beautiful. I'm stoked about that. We'll have to watch the food though, because when they start brooding up like this, they will go through food quickly. When they're in their winter mode, they're not using much food. But as soon as they start making brood, they will go through it. So this colony is telling me very quickly here that they've already had enough. So we're gonna go quick. That is all food. No sense even looking. So they've got food frame, brood frame, brood frame. Second brood frame is there. So they're gonna get a single strip of Apivar right in the center of the brood there. I'm not gonna go looking for a queen or anything silly like that. But we'll get this put back together just the way I found it. And last look at that brood frame. Textbook. Beautiful. Would like to see a little pollen in there, but not much out to get. The maple trees are, I don't know, maybe a week away from really starting to come on with pollen. Can you hear the sound change in this hive? They have had enough. So they're gonna get an Apivar strip. Wearing gloves today because Apivar amatraz, the ingredient amatraz. Here, you're not supposed to touch it. So just doing what I'm told. Apivar strip goes right in the middle of the brood nest. It works by bees touching it over and over and over again. So bees touching the strip is a very important part of it. So these guys are all over the top bar. I don't want to squash them. So we're trying to move them off that top of that box. There we go. So that's exciting. They're already a little further ahead than I thought. Now this one from the outside looking in looked not quite as big. So perhaps they don't have much brood. And I can see lots of food. So food is not an issue here. So here we go. Got honey and actually open nectar or honey they've thinned down. Basically syrup, which is exactly what you want. Honey's good for bees, but open honey, open nectar, easier to get to, no processing, and they can use it right away to feed larvae. Still really good demeanor so far. Now this frame's really heavy, so probably no brood on there. I see yellow pollen baskets all down inside of there. It looks like queens that have been marked. I thought it was my queen, and then I realized it's maple pollen baskets. Okay, so tons of brood, surrounded by a ring of honey, and at the top here an ant, and no eggs. I thought I saw a few eggs there, but I don't see any eggs. So she's probably down below somewhere. So that's capped brood. And a baby bee from the dropping of the egg to a bee emerging is 21 days. So these are, my math's not very good. Not 21-day olds, but probably started making this brood 2 weeks ago. And it will start to emerge shortly. So we've got 3/4 of frame there. And I don't know how good this camera is, but I don't know if you can see down inside of there. That's pretty much a full frame of brood. So same thing. This is great. This is exactly, I couldn't ask for much better. That is full. Like that has got to be 6 pounds of honey. 5-6 pounds of honey in that frame. So they've got good reserves of food. They're obviously bringing in pollen because we just saw it coming in on some bees. So they've got everything they need. They don't need any supplemental feeding. So they're going to get the other Apivar strip. Because there's already capped brood, there's no sense in doing oxalic acid or Well, that's all I ever would normally do is oxalic acid, but there's no point in doing that because it doesn't get the mites under the brood. So useless. Well, I mean, not useless, but not super effective. So our brood was between these two frames, and you got to go kind of slow. My luck, there's a queen somewhere there, and you end up rolling her. Yeah, really good populations. This is fantastic. And if you're a beekeeper, you know what good bees smell like. It's hard to describe, but you can smell this colony, and it is lovely. I hope my camera work is not too shoddy. I really have no idea. I'm gonna get a tripod. I think that's the secret. I need a tripod to do better. Just set it down and do my work. So Apivar on, lids, inner covers I should say, going on to make sure that that queen excluder is well set, because if the queens can get at each other, it's going to be bad. They will kill one, kill both, whatever. Either way, it's not good. So this is actually this side. This is actually this side. It's a little bit of extra work with these doubles, but not a big deal. Insulation, and then the lid, and we're good to go. Okay, I'm going to do one more of these doubles and then get back to work. Or I'm going to film one more double and then get back to work. I'm really not sure if any of this is even coming out, so don't want to waste all my time filming if the video is no good. So, smoke the entrance of both sides. I don't have a ton of smoke coming out of this on every puff, so not a lot going in. Now, I'm not going to put all my stuff on this hive and get it riled up. This one's already a bit riled up, so I'll use it as my table. We'll pop the lid, and again, there we go. Look at that. It's looking beautiful. They look great. So we'll back off. Inner cover. I think this might actually be bigger than the last one. Quick look for a queen. There shouldn't be one. Quick look for a queen. There isn't one. Okay. So we're going to push them down a little just to get them off the top bars. If you give them a second or two, they'll actually move down of their own accord. Queen excluder. Now if you pry all in one spot with these queen excluders, the metal will bend, and then you can easily put or mess the screen up a little bit so that it no longer is going to be the right size, and then a queen can actually go through a hole. So you have to kind of take your time. Yeah, these look great. Okay, so we're going to put a cover back on this one. Usually I have a piece of duct tape that goes here, and they can't get out at all at that point. But this looks great. I'm not even going to do anything other than check for weight. So we'll tip the box. A little lighter than the other one. But I can see honey down into here. That's honey. This is honey on this side. Maybe we'll just pry these two apart. See what we can see. Yeah, there's honey down into there. Yep, honey all across, so we don't have to worry about that at all. So, food, no issue. We will give this one an Apivar strip, and then we'll probably dive down into this one real quick, and it will also get a strip. But that's it. I appreciate you watching. Hopefully I didn't bore you too much. And looks pretty strong, but the queen failed or died. But either way, whatever way you look at it, there's no queen in here anymore. Get it in the sun here. And that is a prime example of a drone layer. All those raised bumps look like 22 shells, if you know what a 22 long rifle looks like. So that means that, well, one of two things. There's a queen that's run out of sperm and can't lay fertilized eggs any longer, or more likely is there's a laying worker. Looks like laying worker to me, but I don't see a queen. So there's a chance maybe that one swarmed in the late fall, and the virgin queen never came back, or she came back and never got mated out properly. So there's a prime example of, you know, decision making. What are we going to do here? Well, there's lots of things you can do. Look at all that bee power. There's still lots of good bees in there. With a little bit of help, that hive will rebound and make 50, 60, 100 pounds of honey. Still super early. So if you had an import queen, you could shake all these bees out, because you don't want the laying workers to get back in the hive, and they've never left the hive. So if I shake them out, they won't find their way back. Or I can take that box and put it on top of, say, this hive if it's super strong, and those workers will straight up kill every laying worker. You could put a piece of newspaper between to slow the process if you wanted to. I typically don't. I just sit them right on top, and they will battle it out, mix it up, and then I'll have a double deep over here again, and once again add a queen in a few weeks, a month, split it off, and it'll sit right back down here, and that hive will make me honey. So, an interesting situation. I think we're only a dozen hives in here, so got an interesting situation already. But the rest of them look really, really good. And like I said, they can all be unicorns and rainbows, so we'll keep moving down the line here. All right, we're back. One row done. Takes forever. I'm so slow. I have to get more efficient. My goal in life this season is to get more efficient. Be better at beekeeping, but just don't need to be in the bee yard, 1 yard for 6 hours, which is what this one's going to take at this pace. Here we have a single with a different setup than most, and that is an insulated hive lid. I got these from John at Oxford Bee Supply years ago. When I very first got started, he helped me out, and I appreciate him much. And I bought a bunch of these. Some have rotted over the years, but most have stood up pretty well. The one beside it, Amish guy who was making stuff, copied, or tried to copy. It does work, but they're not nearly as nice as the ones that John has here. They're a little more expensive, but they work well. So I don't put anything on these. These are literally just a box with this insulated lid, and I think I have 20 of them, and I think we lost 2. So, you know, draw your own conclusions, but they definitely work. Here you can see some critter damage. It's raccoons or skunks, but probably raccoons. Flipping things. I hate those things. I see my mouse guard was not installed very well because there's plenty of room underneath that for a mouse to get inside. So hopefully that's not the case. There's no mice inside. So let's pop the top and have a look. Lots of pollen coming in. I think this is a busy hive. The lid wasn't even on very well. Okay. First impressions. Amazing. Lots on the lid. Good bee coverage. Practically a box of bees. 8 frames. They look great. No extra feed. Haven't done anything to these guys. Girls. So we'll look at the lid. They built all that burr cone. That is not my favorite part about these lids. In fact, I kind of hate them for this because they will build bridges everywhere. Just what bees do. If it fits, we builds. So we'll do a little weight test, and there's good weight there. Not a problem. So we'll just keep moving. So these will get an Apivar strip. That one will get an Apivar strip. 2 actually. That will get 2. And you might as well pop this one as well. Have a look. This one has a lot of dead bees in front of the entrance. They've been there a while. They're pretty much composted at this point. But it's hard to believe there's that many dead bees with that many bees still alive. Puff of smoke. And same thing. Good problem to have. Don't see a queen up there. And really, really nice bee coverage. That's a box of bees right there. That's a beauty. So all that one needs is some Apivar, unless we do the tilt test. Oh, plenty of food. Smoke them down. Add some Apivar, and we'll be moving down the line. All right, we're going into another single here. This is another hive hugger. I probably forgot my knife. To open it. Let's see if I do work. So this is the very first crack of this hive since the fall. It is hermetically sealed. Little smoke for the announcement. Incoming beekeeper. It's like Christmas morning. Well, it's alive. Still got its Formic Pro pads on. No queen on the lid. Looks pretty good. Maybe not quite as monstrous as some of the others, but they do look good. So we'll remove these acid pads. They are inert. And as usual, these do not enjoy having the top bars scraped. Not big fans. So, looking down in, I can't really see much of anything, to be honest, so we'll crack it. Oh, this one came apart nice. Oh, what a difference. Maybe I should put covers on all of them. Well, Caprood. Nice little nest beginning. And this one full of milk brood. And well fed. Very nice. Pull one more here. They are not in a great mood, this hive. They're flighty, they're not stingy. Nice and warm, I can feel the heat coming off of it. So I don't see the queen. We obviously have one. And that frame also has brood on it. So this is an excellent overwintered hive. Leaf. Nobody wants you in there, Leaf. Get out of there. It's good. So, same old, same old. 2 strips of Apivar and move it on. I'm excited that the season is getting underway. Thanks for watching. BigSugarFarm.com